Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to be sharing some stories with you. Stories plural because this would just be like a general story time of just one, but I just have way too many to share. And I thought of this idea for a video the other night when I was up lying in bed, not able to sleep, and I was like, wow. My high school theater experience was one of the most absurd experiences of my entire life, and it was so funny. All of the kids were hilarious. They were like the wildest people I've ever met that you wouldn't expect them to be. You know, they were either really wild, they loved to get fucked up, or they were super horny. And that was like mostly what I remember from my high school theater experience. And so I just wanted to make like a theater kid story time for any of you out there who were in theater or just have like wild high school memories to look back on and you're like, why did that happen? Like that is me when I think about this experience. But I made so many good friends through theater, and it was one of the most enjoyable experiences of high school for me. So I just wanted to share some particularly absurd stories from either theater or the improv troupe that I was in high school as well. And yeah, I contacted some theater friends as well to give me some additional stories, and there was so much absurdity that I forgot happened. So I'm just gonna start off with the hub of everything insane that happened in theater. thescon. thescon was a theater convention that happened once a year. It happened like a few hours from where we went to high school in Georgia, and so we would like all go up there for the weekend and basically just like take theater classes, either dance classes or acting classes, and some people would put on one acts and we would see shows from other high schools that did really well. And basically, other than that, all we did was get fucked up. And I mean, that is all we did. Like, I think it was just the fact that we were going on like a school trip that everybody just wanted to get super drunk or really high or whatever it might be. But once we found out we were going to thescon, we were like, yes, who am I rooming with? And when are we getting the edibles? This is totally a story I would normally tell on my WeedTube channel, but I'm just gonna tell it on here and tell you to go and subscribe to my WeedTube channel as well if you wanna hear more weedy stories. The link is always in my description. But yeah, edibles, let's talk about them. For some reason at my high school, everybody was super obsessed with fudge and then like brownies, and fudge was super potent. And I remember one year we got a bunch of fudge, and then another year we got some brownies. And we would always eat them before like any performance that we would go to, and we would just be high like the entire time and just be like, what is going on? Like, what am I watching? So that is probably one of the funniest things that I always look back on. I'm like, wow, we always had those edibles on lock every thescon, every year. Either that or people would just try to get like super drunk. And I remember there was like a party kind of thing that, or like a dance that thescon would put on, and you would have to wear costumes. I don't remember the name of it, but one year I dressed up as Miranda Sings, because if you've been watching me for a while, you know I was obsessed with her in high school. So was my friend Sierra, and we would just talk like Miranda all the goddamn time. But I dressed up as her for that like dance or whatever. I'll insert a photo of myself here because wow, absurd. Also, I vlogged like all of thescon whenever I would go, and those vlogs are so funny to look back on. All of those people that I was vlogging with are like the funniest people I've ever met, honestly. Also, one prominent memory I have of thescon is the only rule was you have to stay in the thescon grounds. Like, you have to at least be going to some kind of a class or seeing a show or something. But for some reason, my friends Nick and Sierra and I went to go visit one of our friends who was in college around like where we were. thescon was held at a college. I don't remember the name of the school, but she went there. And so we just went to her apartment and like hung out with her and got high during the day instead of just like going to any shows. And I just think back on that and I'm like, what? Like, how did we not get caught? I don't understand. That was the only rule. And then one of the other more absurd things that I remember about thescon is like everybody was hooking up. Like everybody always would go and switch hotel rooms with people at night because they kept boys and girls separately, obviously for horny theater kid reasons. And we would still like sneak into people's rooms and hook up with them. I remember this guy who I had a crush on, he had a crush on me. I've actually told the story of him a few times, and I think like my fuckboy story time, was that the last story time that I uploaded? I'm not sure, but let's call him Andy. Andy had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend was not going to thescon. So she told another girl in our like theater troupe who was going to keep an eye on us. And one, she didn't, and two, he still was like trying to smash the whole weekend. I didn't understand. We always just had this weird chemistry in high school, and if any of my theater friends are watching this, you know who the f I'm talking about. But yeah, you know how there's like a communal like laundry room in hotels sometimes? I remember like after hours when we were supposed to be in our hotel rooms, we like met up in the laundry room. And I'm not gonna get into too much detail, but basically he was like trying to hook up with me while also trying to tell me that he couldn't because of his girlfriend. Some shit goes down at thescon hotels, my friends. And speaking of hookups, one of the most absurd things that my friend Sierra from theater just told me when I was texting her asking for absurd stories, she said that she hooked up with one of our gay guy friends because he wasn't sure if he was really gay. And that is some theater shit right there. That is so funny to me. They also hooked up in a bed next to like somebody who was just snoring so loudly and made the other person in that room who was rooming with the snoring person go and get locked in the bathroom so that they could do it in secret away from their roommates. Absurd. I'm sorry, Sierra, if you didn't want me to share that story, but honestly, I just assume that you don't care, and I love you, okay? And then aside from all of the thescon absurdity, just theater classes and shows in general that we would do, whether it be musicals or plays at school, they were always so funny because we would just have to practice so much together, so we spent so much time together, and everybody was like such a character, you know? You get those like really funky fellows that you meet in theater who are just like so into it, so die hard for like singing or acting or whatever it might be. But I remember when I was in Into the Woods, I was auditioning for the role of the wolf, which is traditionally a male role. But I mean, as you can tell, I have a pretty low voice and my singing voice is also pretty low. I can't really do falsetto that well, you know? And so when we got callbacks, it was me and then another guy in my theater troupe. And again, you guys know my theater friends who I'm talking about. But I just remember, let's call him Craig. Craig got so upset at me because I got the role of the wolf over him to the point where we had like a resentment. Like we did not get along. He hated me, I hated him. Anytime that I saw him during, because I think he was casted as like either an understudy or like a smaller role because I got that. And he was so pissed off at me and was just like so upset that a girl got the role instead that we just had all of this pent up anger towards each other. And I just remember, you know, that Into the Woods drama truly as one of the most notable experiences of that musical in general. I'm sorry, Craig, that I took your wildest dreams away from you. Okay, and then as for just like theater class in general, there would be days where our teacher would just be like, do whatever, please come down here and do some kind of an improv skit. I don't care what you do. I'll cut you off if it gets out of hand. And so me and that guy that I had a crush on and he had a crush on me, I forget what I called him at the beginning of this. What did I call him? Let's call him Matt this time. Why not? So Matt and I went down onto the floor of the black box where we had theater class and we started doing this skit. And for some reason, it went so off the rails into like, basically the improv that I was going for was to kind of humiliate him. Because like I said earlier, he had a girlfriend. She was in that theater class with us watching this skit take place. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pull out the big guns today. I'm gonna get absurd up in here. And so basically the premise of what I was going for in that improv scene was there was like a couch and he was sitting on the couch and I was like, why are you sitting down, man? Like, can't you just get up? And he was like, no, I'm stuck here or something. And I was like, oh, I think I know why. In the entire scene, I was hinting that he had a boner and that he came in his pants. And at one point I was like, do you need a napkin? And my teacher was like, all right, let's cut it out, okay? And everybody was just like screaming, laughing. And I just remember that scene so prominently. Now I just feel bad for his girlfriend. She had to watch that. And now I'm just gonna recount some memories with my dear friend, Sierra. Sierra, if you're watching this, I miss you so much and thank you for all of the text things to refer back to. First off, I asked her what some of her more absurd and favorite memories of theater with me were, and she goes, well, I mean, pretty much before any show, we would just blast trap music and twerk on the walls. And we actually did do that. I don't know why that was like our pre-show ceremony, what really got us all hyped up. We also would bring around like a speaker and just blast like Original Dawn. And then, oh my God, this is the improv troupe story. So basically we had like an improv class in school, and then 7 of us were picked from the improv class to be in an improv troupe, and we were going to go and like compete at different things and whatnot. And Sierra and I and the guy that I had that fling with and a bunch of other of our friends were all in that troupe. We went on like a little excursion one day to go and compete in an improv competition. And our improv teacher, let's call him Mr. Mooney. Mr. Mooney was one, everybody thought he was so hot. Like he was hands down the hottest teacher at our school. 2, he was so like hip and fun, you know, that we all just related to him more so than we did any other teacher. And he was the one who taught us improv and got us to go to all of those competitions and whatnot. So it was just fun to go on like a road trip with him specifically. So all 7 of us and then him were all in like this big ass car, and we went down to, I don't know where we competed, somewhere in Georgia, and we were entered into an improv competition, but both Mr. Mooney and all 7 of us did not know that nobody in our age group also applied. So we were like competing only against ourselves in that age category. So we won like a national improv competition just because no one else entered. And we were probably so bad. We were just like, we could like forfeit this performance, but we could still win. And everybody else there was like 10 years old. Like everybody was so young. And I have no idea how nobody even figured out that we were going up only against ourselves. But that was a very pleasant memory. And also just like on the way to and fro when we were road tripping there, we were just asking Mr. Mooney all of these really absurd questions. And I remember he at one point talked about like a pink sock, and everybody was like, what the hell is a pink sock? And he was like, oh, no, forget I said anything. You guys don't know what that is? That's fine. I mean, you can ask Google if you want, because I'm not going to tell you. And so we all had phones and shit, and somebody looked up what a pink sock was, and I wouldn't recommend. It's an inside out asshole. But yeah, man, those are all of my improv class memories and troupe memories with all of those wonderful, kind, absurd people. And then I just have all these fond memories of Sierra and I like performing Legally Blonde duets with each other, like serious, and we would just hide in the hallways at thescon and like sing to each other. And I also just have such fond memories of my sophomore year of theater, because I had a bunch of senior friends, and because it was their last year, they were always casted in the productions, so it would be like their last show. And before any auditions or anything, we would always just meet up at someone's house and like sing to each other and give each other critiques and shit like that. And I just remember being so nervous, but also so comfortable because it was with those beautiful people. And yeah, honestly, just in general, every single person that I met through theater was either such an absurd person or such a great human. And they were so funny and talented. And I'm so happy that that was a part of my high school experience. So I wanted to recount some of the more absurd stories Mainly the edibles, man. Those will get ya at thescon. But yeah, comment down below if you were in theater in high school and your favorite memory from theater if you were. And if you weren't and you still watched this, comment down below your favorite absurd high school memory. It doesn't have to be something that happened to you. It could be something that happened to one of your friends or somebody that you didn't even know that you just heard about, you know? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. If you did like this, please give it a big thumbs up for me. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Ring the notifications bell if you would like to be notified when I upload. And until the next upload, stay smiling. Bye guys.
I have a place that I'd like to call home. You've got this look on your face.